Finally, in my 60s, I have realized that the real clutter in my life is not in my home. It was in my mind and in my heart and in my soul. And when I finally got rid of those things, I started living the life I had always dreamed of having for myself. Let me talk to you about it. Hey, I'm Kelly from Brainflower, where we talk about coping with life after 60 and all the strange curveballs we get. Today, I want to talk to you about the 3 things I gave up in my 60s that finally changed my life forever. The impact has been incredible. And stick around for the third one because it's my personal favorite and maybe the most surprising. In our 60s, we finally get the chance to design a life that is lighter and brighter and totally our own, and to embrace the happiness that can come from doing so. If this is of interest to you, if positivity and being happy is of interest to you, please like and subscribe our new channel here, Brainflower. Number 1, getting rid of sentimental objects that weighed me down. Why was it hard? These are things that I felt compelled to hold on to out of guilt or some sense of obligation. And let me tell you, some of them were very tacky. Old souvenirs, photographs, little collectible items. They just gathered around the house and in my mind like dust. But here's the thing. I realized that I wasn't worried about getting rid of things. I was worried about getting rid of the emotions and memories that went with them. Those were the psychically heavy things weighing on my brain. When I made that connection between things actually being spiritual and mental issues is when I decided to let them go. Now, I'm going to be perfectly frank. I am not 100% there. I still have a couple of things of my dad's downstairs, like old plaques and awards. I feel a little guilty about those. But before we enter the next year, which is right around the corner, I'm going to be free of them. Because I've realized that getting rid of those other things has been the most freeing thing I have done in a very, very long time. And it's not just about physical clutter. I still have those memories. Those memories don't go away when you throw out the stuff, but they're not like in your face all the time and making you feel bad. So out they go. So I'm going to ask you to ask yourself if there's anything that is floating around in your life, in your house, in your car. I got a lot of stuff in my car that is really weighing you down and isn't serving you anymore. Release them with gratitude and move on. Open up that space for some new memories. Number 2, letting go of the fear of failure. This one surprises people because they know me as a very positive and upbeat person and an adventurous person. But honestly, deep down inside, there's just that little cold fear of failure that sometimes holds me back. For instance, I finally had to overcome that fear to do some new things. Start this new channel, change careers, go on a diet, take a chance on myself, take a chance on romance. And I've done all of those things within the last 6 months once I actually consciously decided that I was going to ignore that fear and go on anyhow. How did I do that? What was different? Well, I reframed failing not as the end game, but as a step in the plan to succeed. I started welcoming failing in a way because it told me that I was still on the path that I wanted to be on. Thinking about failing was a game changer once I started viewing it as just another way station on the way to success. It allowed me to say yes and to experiment with things that I was afraid of doing before. So now I ask you, is there at least one thing that maybe you're afraid of failing at? Can you reframe that idea of failing as just being a sign of the fact that you are working on your project, whether it's a self project or an outside project, and that you are making progress. This is a baby step, but it's necessary and important. And once you own your own idea of failing and it's not from outside in, can't even talk about it. It's amazing. I ask you to just try it in a baby step kind of way. Finally, my favorite, number 3, letting go of the need to please everybody and manage their emotions and expectations. Listen, I was raised as an oldest daughter and was told that my responsibility was to make sure that I took care of everybody else, that I made sure everyone was happy and not hurt, and that they were doing fine. This applied to family and friends, and then later on in work and in romantic relationships. I was always worrying about everybody else. And there wasn't really much time left for Kelly. I was taught that I always had to keep the peace, if you know what I mean. This was very, and still is, very tough to let go of. But I feel that I was all tied up in ropes. And once I started realizing that the one person, the only person I could actually control was myself, I felt like I was reborn, that I had a new life. And it truly, an empowered, positive me was better for everybody at the end of the day. It felt really weird at first to be making decisions that supported me. And I realized that you didn't actually have to come across like a jerk or, a meanie. You were actually trying to live the most authentically beautiful way that you can for your own well-being, your own self. And I sort of need to say this, which is you can 100% be invested in your own well-being and still be caring and loving and supportive of all of the people in your life. This isn't an even or scenario, but it's definitely a me first scenario. I no longer have to be there for everyone 100% of the time, every single day of the year. Let me ask you, when was the last time you chose you? First, doing these 3 things and letting go of these 3 things is definitely life-changing. You're going to feel like a big bright light was lit up inside of you, that you are just shining and sending your energy out there into the world. And who turned on that light? You. You did it. Hey, if you like talking about things we encounter later in life, lessons we learn, or issues we share, please consider liking and subscribing to Brainflower. We're a really new channel. And I have a couple of videos up here I think you might like as well. In the meantime, be happy. Go pick yourself some brain flowers.